get your first nice paying job. Maybe you already built a house and had children. And now erase all of that. Let there be a gaping hole of 15 years. 15 years of your life being taken from you without any fault of your own. In the Name of the Father, starring Daniel Day-Lewis as Gerry Conlon, who, along with his father and his friends, gets wrongfully convicted for a bombing he had no part in during the Northern Ireland conflict, is one of the more well-known movies about said conflict, mainly because of its famous lead actor. Today, we will have a look at what happened to real-life Gerry Conlon, apart from Hollywood covering their case. The real-life Gerry Conlon was born in 1954 in Belfast, more precisely in the Catholic Lower Falls area, to parents Giuseppe and Sarah Conlon. When he was 20, he moved to England, where he was arrested as a part of the Guildford bombings, along with his fellow Irishmen Paul Michael Hill and Paddy Armstrong, and Englishwoman Carol Richardson. Along with them, 7 of Conlon's relatives, among them his father Giuseppe, were also convicted for having played a role in the bombing campaign. All of the men were totally innocent. In fact, the pubs in the city of Guildford, Sussex, were bombed by the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, because they were often frequented by British soldiers. In order to understand how this injustice came to be, we have to remember something that sounds strange from today's point of view. Prior to the 9/11 attacks, so basically throughout the second half of the 20th century, when Europeans used to think of paramilitary organizations, they would think of Catholics, namely ETA in Spain's Basque Country, or, as in this case, the IRA on the British Isles. Belfast today is still an IRA stronghold, yes, although there is peace in Northern Ireland on paper since 1998. So a Catholic from Belfast, such as Conlon was, did perfectly fit the profile that the English police had after a series of attacks where most of the victims were British military personnel. What also needs to be kept in mind that, as a Belfast native, Conlon was a British citizen. Normally, when it comes to its own citizens, a state will try and go through proper legal proceedings with enough convicting evidence before handing out lifelong sentences. Conlon himself said that he was abused by police during interrogations, and a false confession was extracted from him through severe mental and physical torture. In 1989, the convictions against the Guildford Four were crushed, and the same happened to the case of the Maguire 7 in 1991. By the time they had already spent years in prison, with Giuseppe Conlon dying at the age of 56 from tuberculosis while incarcerated in 1980, 4 years into his 12-year prison sentence. His son Gerry spent 15 years of his life behind bars without ever committing any of the crimes he was imprisoned for. He spent the rest of his life fighting against court injustice and capital punishment all over the world. Gerry Conlon died of lung cancer in 2014 and, according to his own words, never properly adjusted to life outside of prison, suffering from sleeplessness and panic attacks, which he tried to self-medicate with alcohol. Only in 2005, the then British Prime Minister Tony Blair issued a formal public apology to the Guildford Four and the Maguire 7. Again, this was too little, too late, as the wrongly convicted had already spent years of their lives in prison without taking anyone's life, as the crowd court claimed at that point. Shortly before his death, Conlon was visited by a filmmaker who spoke to him, which resulted in the 2015 documentary In the Name of Gerry Conlon, which, if you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend watching. I'm trying to find a place to watch it for myself at the moment. So yeah, that was today's snippet of history. Yeah, thank you. Bye.